Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Kenny and I'm an ex-financial analyst, and this whole show is dedicated towards finding the next multi-bagger stock that we can add to our portfolio. Now, I'm really excited to bring this episode to you guys today as we are going to be talking about Unity software. Now, I've gotten a few requests from some of you guys, as well as some of my friends, to break down Unity, what they do and some of their products, as well as talk about their long-term growth future. Now, shares of Unity have more than doubled since they IPO'd back in September earlier this year, reaching an all-time high of $170 from its original IPO price of around $70. Now, while optimism surrounding the whole entire technology space has increased, investor confidence in Unity's prospect have definitely risen. So let's not wait any longer, let's dive right into what Unity is all about and talk about if there's still a long-term buy today.
Unity is the world's leading platform for creating and operating interactive, real-time 3D content. Creators ranging from game developers and architects to automotive designers, filmmakers, and more use Unity to make their creations come to life. Unity's platform provides a comprehensive set of software solutions to create, run, and monetize interactive real-time 2D and 3D content for mobile phones, tablets, PCs, consoles, and AR and VR devices. Unity launched its first game development platform in 2004, which bundled together cross-platform rendering, lighting, physics, sound, animation, and user inference tools. In the past, developers created those features individually for different platforms, which was often a buggy, expensive, and time-consuming process. Unity now serves over 1.5 million monthly active creators, and over half of all mobile, PC, and console games are built with its tools. In 2019, an average of 3 billion apps built with Unity were downloaded each month. Games like Super Mario Run, Among Us, and Monument Valley were all built with Unity. It's famous in the gaming world for its development software that studios use to create hits like Fall Guys, Pokemon Go, and Call of Duty Mobile. It sells that software to companies through subscription plan and charges a starting price of $400 to $2,400 a year, depending on the size of the studio. It also offers a limited version for free. Now, Unity operates two main platforms: Create Solutions, which includes its development tools for 2D and 3D applications, and Operate Solutions, which adds tools for in-app ads, in-app purchases, analytics, and support for multiplayer games and in-game communications. The Create business generates revenue from subscriptions and professional services, while the Operate business makes money from revenue and usage-based sharing agreements. It also generates a small percentage of its revenue from strategic partnerships with various hardware and software partners. Unity still generates most of its revenue from traditional gaming companies, but it's gradually expanding into other markets, including augmented reality, virtual reality, and industrial 3D design. Now, Unity's market reach is pretty expansive as it has over 5 billion app downloads per month, 2.5 billion monthly active end users. All of the top 10 OEMs are Unity's customers, and 94 out of the top 100 game development companies use Unity. One of the great things about Unity is that they benefit from neutrality, meaning that if you build or create with Unity, you have the ability to distribute your content across many different platforms, from Android, iOS, PlayStation, Nintendo, and much, much more. Now, Unity's revenue rose 42% last year and grew another 44% year on year to 552 million in the first 9 months of 2020. It expects its revenue to rise 40% for the full year. Unity ended the third quarter with a net expansion rate of 144%, up from 132% in the prior year quarter. This means it generated 44% more revenue from its existing customers, which indicates its sticky ecosystem is fertile ground for cross-selling new tools and services. About 3/4 of Unity's revenue comes from larger customers that generated over 100,000 in revenue over the past 12 months. Its total number of customers in that tier rose 34% year on year to 739 during the quarter. Unity is seeing about 53% year-on-year revenue growth. Its non-GAAP gross margin is about 80%, and it's seeing an operating loss of $8 million. Now, this is pretty strong revenue growth, and it's really good to see that it's actually increasing each quarter. In quarter one, it increased 36% year on year. In Q2 of 2020, it increased 43%, and in this last quarter of Q3 of 2020, it increased 53%. So they are seeing an increase, so they are seeing an acceleration of their revenue growth, which is really good to see. A lot of this is due to the pandemic. However, it is showing that there is a clear demand for Unity's platform. Unity didn't provide any guidance for 2021, but analysts expect its revenue to rise about 26 to 30% to $960 to $1 billion next year. Now, based on those forecasts, Unity's stock looks a little pricey at 60 times this year's sales and more than 45 times next year's sales. Now, as most of us know, the pandemic accelerated the global gaming market. Since people are stuck at home, people all around the world have been spending a lot more time and money on video games. Now, restrictions on travel, activity, and public gatherings imposed in most countries force many to stay at home, in some cases completely negating the social life of the customer. For many, gaming has been a substitute for social interaction as more people crave competition and cooperation and use virtual worlds to meet these needs. So before COVID, there was about 60% of people who were playing games, and during COVID, it's seen a 30% growth in gamers who play more than 5 hours a week. Now, this tailwind is projected to continue in the future as more and more people adopt gaming as a social norm and incorporate it more into their daily lives. Now, Unity is really well positioned to capitalize on this trend. As we talked about earlier, more than 50% of all games are made with Unity's platform. Now, Unity does a really good job of cultivating a community and giving out resources that empower people to use their platform. They have something called Unity Learn, which is a online resource for anyone to use for free to be able to learn different skills to be able to utilize Unity's platform. I've actually tried it myself, and it's really intuitive, pretty easy to understand, and very easy to follow. I think having something like this in place really makes it easy and accessible for a lot of people to get their feet wet and try out Unity's platform, and it really makes it user friendly for people to get more involved with it. During the last quarter's conference call, CFO Kim Jabal attributed some of the expansion into 2020 to COVID's tailwinds in the operate business, from people staying home and playing more games, and that growth could result in a tough comparison in 2021. So they're just trying to temper the expectations that maybe in the next year, growth won't be as strong because of these COVID tailwinds this year. Now, Unity's addressable market for its software is about 29 billion, 12 billion for gaming, and 17 billion for non-gaming industries. Unity's 351 million in revenue for the first half of 2020 represents less than 3% of the addressable market, which suggests ample room for growth within existing markets. Beyond that, there could be new opportunities multiple times larger than what's tapping into now. For example, Unity could develop new software and tools to help game developers design and operate futuristic games. So by this, I mean tapping into augmented reality and virtual reality, which have a really bright future as a lot more people are shifting towards a virtual workspace and environment as we've realized that we don't need to be in person and we don't need to actually go into the office. Now, one of the things that makes me really excited about Unity is that they already have a market share in the gaming industry for their platform. However, they are trying to tap into other industries. I think if they are able to get more differentiated by tapping into industrial, architecture, and all these different wide ranging industries, and to be the leading platform for people to create and operate, this could be a huge catalyst for Unity to grow. And as of right now, Unity stands about $40 billion, but I think with their business model and the projected growth, they could potentially be an Adobe 5 years from now, which stands at around 200 billion in market cap. Now, Unity looks great. It has a great long-term future, seeing a steady growth rate, and its platform is critical for a lot of these different companies. But let's not forget about some of the risk factors. Now, the first risk factor is that Unity's top line growth is impressive, but its net loss widened from 132 million to 163 million last year, and widened again year on year from 113 million to 199 million in the first 9 months of 2020. Unity's adjusted gross margin dipped year over year during the third quarter due to a higher mix of lower margin professional services, higher hosting costs for its operate solutions, and its takeover of the AR/VR studio, Fingerfood, in April. Analysts expect Unity's non-GAAP net losses to narrow slightly over the next 2 years, but it won't generate a profit anytime soon. Now, the second major risk factor is that it isn't the only game development platform in town. Epic Games' Unreal Engine, which power hit games like Fortnite, PUBG, and Borderlands, competes against Unity across all the major gaming platforms. Epic is actually currently waiving its royalties for Unreal Engine games on its Epic Games Studio until they generate 1 million in gross revenue. Now that's a really lucrative offer that could actually pull developers away from the Unity and even throttle its ability to raise prices and narrow its losses in the future. Lastly, I just wanted to throw this in there, but another looming challenge is Apple's iOS 14 update, which will require apps to request permission to collect data for targeting ads next year. Their CFO admitted that the update, which would impact its Operate Solutions business, was already causing uncertainty for game developers last quarter. Unity provides an essential service for many game makers, but its stock is very richly valued. Its high valuation will require it to retain its current levels of growth for many years, which could be challenging as it faces tougher competition and new data gathering rules. I do think that the secular tailwind of gaming demand will continue in the future, but only time will tell about how strong it will be and how much of an impact it will have on Unity's top line growth. If Unity is able to continue to see 40% growth year on year for the next 3 to 4 years, I definitely do think Unity stock could continue to rise as they are able to surpass expectations. If they do take a hit on their revenue and they see continued operating losses, I do think the stock would take a pullback and people would have to rejudge Unity's valuation.
Alright guys, well that was our breakdown of Unity software, what they're all about, and talking about some of their different risk factors and future potential. Now I really like Unity because they are providing the platform for all these game developers to be able to create their games. Now, an analogy I like using when talking about Unity is to think about the gold rush. Now, in the gold rush, a lot of the panhandlers and the gold diggers would actually not get rich. It was only a few of them who would actually strike it big. The real winner were actually the merchants who were providing all the tools and supplies to all these different panhandlers. They were the ones who capitalized on this whole entire boom in this industry, and they were the ones who made it rich themselves. Now, as we talked about earlier, more than 50% of all mobile games are made through the Unity platform, and with this huge gaming secular tailwind, I believe the long-term futures and prospects for this whole entire industry is going to continue to grow over time. Now, Unity is mainly focused on the gaming industry as of right now. However, they are trying to differentiate into different industries. They are trying to get more into industrial and automotive. And I believe that if they are able to execute on being one of the leading platforms for a wider array of different industries, Unity will continue to do well and will continue to grow. Now, there are several risk factors that we do need to take account for, such as they do have increasing net losses, as well as the competition from Epic's Unreal Engine. However, I don't believe this is a zero-sum game or a winner-takes-all market. I believe that Unity and Unreal will both benefit from this gaming demand, and as long as Unity continues to deliver on its top-line revenue growth at above 30 to 40%, I believe that it will continue to do well far into the future. Thanks guys, if you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. We're almost at 100 subs, and with 2021 coming right around the corner, I plan on spending a lot more time and effort making good content for you guys. Alright, thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next video.